Hey friends, welcome back to Boyle Family Farm. It is a perfect spring day today and we've gotten more and more of these kind of days recently, and it's just perfect to spend time outside working on the garden, working in the yard, working on the property. And today and mostly this week we've been pretty focused on the cottage garden. We have some exciting updates for you guys, which is super cool. So a couple weeks ago I had up-potted some of the plants that I had winter sown in some milk jugs. So those are still in the greenhouse. They're doing really well, but we are going to have a couple more really low 30-degree days. So I'm not going to put them out into the garden yet, but that is coming up within the next couple weeks, which is super exciting. All right, so I did spend some time yesterday cleaning up the greenhouse, which was much needed. There was just stuff growing all over the place. So I put some landscape fabric down on the ground, so that'll keep the weeds under control in there and I can really utilize the space a little bit better. So that was awesome. But the super exciting thing in the cottage garden right now is what we found, a couple weeks ago now?
It was like 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago. I'm in the office, I'm doing my work, Micah comes in and he's like,
honey, I found the most amazing thing in the cottage garden.
And obviously I had to drop what I was doing to come look. Babe, what did you find in the cottage garden?
I found a water line going from the back side of the house about almost 100 feet out into the middle of the cottage garden, where we didn't even know previous owners had a garden at the time, but it was there. It was broken off at ground level, and somebody had put concrete in and they broke the water line off.
But it was there, and all we have to do is fix the piping a little bit, attach a spigot, and we have water right in the middle of the cottage garden, which is amazing. We don't have to connect like 10 hoses from the back of the house just to get water out into the garden. It's going to be absolutely ideal for the space we have back there. And Micah even had the brilliant idea to tee it off to run a line over to where we're going to put the window greenhouse, which is even more ideal. It's just like a perfect situation right beneath our feet and we didn't even know it. It was definitely like the discovery of the year for sure. At least for me it was, because yeah, dragging water back and forth, hose lines all over the place isn't ideal, and this way we can just have a central line, and that'll be so much easier for putting in a drip system later on too. So I am over the moon about that. Most exciting thing that's happened to me in weeks. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is, and I don't even care. But other than that, we've just been really working on getting the beds put in. The kids have been out here most days getting soil put into the new beds that I have. I've gotten some flowers and some new plants going in, and it's just really starting to feel like spring. So before Micah Boyle loses all feeling in his legs, we're going to take you guys on a quick tour of the garden, and we're going to start off where we found the hose line. So let's go.
So originally this was at ground level, and there was a piece of concrete right here that somebody had elbowed up and had a spigot coming out of the ground. But you couldn't see that because it had been broken off at concrete level. And so anyway, I dug it out, and a couple trips to Home Depot, I realized that I would be able to take out the old section of pipe that was broken. I just needed to get to a thread wherever that was at, and I was hoping it was not going to be 20 feet back toward the house, but it was really awesome. It was only like a foot away from where we were going to put the spigot anyway. Took the old stuff off. I came up with the idea to tee it off to go out to the greenhouse that we're going to build out near the chicken area after I did this, so I'm going to need to rework this, but that's okay. We already have all the materials here, so I'm just going to probably cut off right where this pipe comes up and tee it off. So we'll have a section coming up here with a spigot, and then we're going to I'll put a line going out this way. Since we're not ready to we don't have the line dug out there yet, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to leave a hole in the ground where until we're ready to do that, and just put a big rock over it, so we don't have a giant hole in the ground, in the middle of the cottage garden. But that way it'll still be intact. It'll be easy to get to when we're ready, and yeah, we'll have water access in 2 spots of the cottage garden, and it's going to be awesome. It's quite a trek to and from bringing water and back and forth with 5-gallon buckets or with water cans. So this will be really cool. I'm excited.
All right, I released Micah to go out and work on the line, so he's gonna get that done for me. Hopefully we'll have a spigot in the middle of the cottage garden before the end of the day. But in the meantime, I'm gonna run you through what the cottage garden looks like so far right now. So right behind me, we're starting on the north end of the cottage garden. So the entire cottage garden is south facing. It's behind the house, and it's just a perfect location. So over here is the north end, and I have 4 beds lined up on this side of the arbor, and these are going to be veggies. I'm going to have 4 beds of veggies on this side of the arbor, and then 4 beds on that side of the arbor as well. Those are all going to be for vegetables. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to plant in each one, but I know that these are going to at least be for vegetables, and will probably be for things like tomatoes, peppers, that kind of stuff, some more summer veggies. And then along the fence on both sides, I'm going to do flowers along the fence, both inside the cottage garden, and then I'll probably end up doing annuals outside of the cottage garden to border the backyard. So that should look really nice come summer. I don't know how much I'll be able to get in this summer, but eventually that's the goal. Some of what I got last weekend included roses. This is a white rose bush. So my hope is that it grows tall enough, and eventually, I don't know a lot about rose propagation, but I definitely want to give it a try to line the back at least 10 feet apart or so, 8 or 10 feet apart, with rose bushes. But we shall see how that comes about. Then this over here is another rose plant, but this is a climbing rose. It's going to be a super beautiful bright yellow color, and my hope is that it goes all the way up over the arbor. It's supposed to climb up to between 8 and 10 feet, so I think it should be fine. But if I can get it to go up over the arbor, it would just make such a beautiful entryway into the cottage garden, and meet with this side, which is another climbing rose, and this one is a beautiful bright red. I think the red and the yellow together would just be gorgeous. Middle of summer, look out here into all the color that these flowers would bring would just be so beautiful. So my hope is that they eventually grow and meet and go over to the other side. So we will see how that goes, but it should be beautiful once they're established. All right, so that brings us to the other side of the arbor, where I have 4 more beds, and then 1 small one that I think I'm going to do mostly for herbs. But I haven't really decided what's going on in each one, but I think that's what'll end up happening. So more veggies, and then of course more flowers along the fence. I haven't decided what flowers I'm going to put on this side yet. I mean, I think probably rose bushes every 8 or 10 feet, and then something else in between. I'm a huge fan of lavender. I think that's going to be a staple in the garden. And then other than that, I'll just have to kind of do some research about what grows well with rose bushes. All right, then coming over here to the greenhouse. I did clean it up yesterday. So I should have done a before and after picture, but I had grass, weeds just everywhere because obviously they're going to grow really well inside the greenhouse. But I have all my winter sewing milk jugs that I haven't up potted, and they're still growing really well in there. They're getting super tight. You can probably see them peeking out. I desperately need to up pot them. I just haven't had a chance to. And then these are the ones I did a couple weeks ago. Those are all looking pretty good. Probably could use some water right now. But I started pulling off the side leaves for my spinach, and then some of the kale too, and you can just see how they're coming in super strong. They'll be ready to go once we are out of any freezing and frost danger. I'll get them outside and they'll just grow super strong. I have a couple of my sweet peas that are looking really well too. Some of them got leggy in the beginning, but they're starting to come in really nicely since I have potted them and gave them more room. And I just have some broccoli. I have a compost bucket down there that I need to take out as well. But my hope is that using the fabric, the landscape fabric, will keep weeds and other stuff out of here. At least enough until we decide what to do with this area permanently. All right, and coming right out of the greenhouse are my 2 rows that I had put in last year. I do need to top them off with some more soil and amendments, and that'll hopefully get done sometime this week, probably next weekend at the rate things are going. But these are all established, and I think things are going to grow really well in here. I did get excited with all the nice weather and started doing some. So what I ended up doing was just some onions, which I think are okay for how cold it's going to be overnight this week. So I did some yellow onion, Patterson, which is supposed to be a really good storing onion, which I'm hoping is the case. And then I did some Walla Walla onion, and I think I'm gonna do one more type of onion, probably a bunching onion, and then I'll do the rest of the row with radishes, since they're super quick, and then probably some broccoli. So by the time the broccoli's done, I can fill this side with a type of bush bean, and then the other side with a climbing bean. So I already have T-posts up. I do need to put some some either cattle panel or some type of trellis up so that they can grow on that side. All right, and then coming along to the back of the cottage garden, I have 2 beds of flowers over here, which are doing really well for spring. So I planted these last fall, and I hadn't done that. I did tulips in the past, but not anything else. And I wasn't quite sure how they were gonna do, but you guys, I am just so super happy that really anything is coming up. But you can see where these are starting to flower, which here in a couple weeks are just gonna look so beautiful. I honestly don't even remember which ones these ones are. I'm pretty sure these ones are allium, but I'll have to go back and look at a video because I don't remember what some of these other ones are. And then at the end I have a patch of tulips, which look at those colors. I mean, aren't they just amazing? It's just so beautiful. The color that I desperately needed after months and months of dark, rain, cold. It's just the perfect pick-me-up and the perfect start to spring. All right, and then along the back, I'm gonna have a row of raspberries. Eventually, I want to do 2 rows, but for this year, I'm gonna start off with just the 1. And then I'm gonna have a row of strawberries. And then moving along the back over here, eventually I'll do the same thing, 2 rows of strawberries as well. But then moving along the back, I have a row of blueberries. And then again, I'm gonna add another row of blueberries. But right now we just have these 4 bushes that my oldest had planted last week. So what I'm gonna do with these areas, I'm gonna get the plants planted, and then I will get some cardboard to put around the planted bushes and then top them with garden soil or compost mix to get rid of the weeds around them, keep that area under control, and then have the established beds there moving forward. All right, so that's kind of it as far as things that we've gotten into the garden. I still have to do some more cardboard laying and soil moving for some beds that I have planned over here near the chicken run. These are going to be my squash beds. So it's going to be pumpkin, summer squash, and then I'm going to do some melons. So that's what will come over here. And then as we go around the perimeter, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Squash and melon rows over there, squash and melon rows over on this side. And then back here is where I'm going to put the window greenhouse, and what I plan to do is do rows and beds of flowers in front of the greenhouse. So it'll just be a gorgeous view from inside and from outside as well. And hopefully that's where the line that Mike is talking about for the water will come over right this way. Just be perfect location for the greenhouse. And if I can somehow convince them to get electricity out to the greenhouse, it would just be a dream come true. So we'll work on that. I'm not sure what the logistics looks like for getting power out to this area, but we'll do some research and see how that goes. Other than that, what I have planned for today is just more planting. So I did get a hydrangea bush today, and I also got a couple lavender bushes that I'm going to put with one of the rose bushes that I had put in, or that my kids had put in over this past week. And I think lavender will pair really well with the color of the rose bush that I got. It's like a pale pink, but like a really strong pale pink, if that makes any sense. But it'll look super pretty. And that's going to go right here. This area is going to end up being a triangle, a flower bed triangle. So I have the rose bush right on the end, and then my plan is to put lavender bushes on the other side, just in front of it. And then it's actually going to mirror this triangle that I have over here. That's also going to be a flower bed. And what that's going to end up looking like is there's going to be 4 triangles all up at the corner of this rectangle area that encompasses kind of a sitting area that I have planned right in between these tree trunks. So it'll kind of be surrounded with flowers, which I think will just be beautiful. And I can already picture myself out here with like a glass of lemonade in the middle of summer, just surrounded with just beautiful flowers. And then this area, they had some kind of structure over here, which is why I'm assuming they had the water line out here before. But we're gonna cut down, you can see these posts. They're metal posts. We're going to cut them down, but we're actually going to use the same spot to put in some probably 2x4s or 4x4s, because I want to do grapes in this area. So I want to have like a grape pergola. And if we can already use what's here, then that would probably be helpful. But that would just be really nice for in front of the sitting area. And then surrounded by these flowers, I think would just look really pretty. So that's the goal, that's the plan. But we'll see how the summer keeps developing. We're still in the early parts of spring, so we're still working on just getting things put in, like the beds. I'm still working on getting enough flowers. I think we spend every weekend in town at like Home Depot or the nursery, just eyeing everything. Today I told Micah to make a list for Home Depot, so he did, and the sweet guy that he is, he added all flowers to the bottom of the list, so he knows where my heart is. But in the meantime, I'm going to get some stuff planted. I'm going to get some of the stuff that I had planted and see how that starts looking in the flower beds. All right, so you guys get to join me for that today.
Full stop. Can't believe I live in your thoughts. I think about you all the time, morning, evening, and midnight. Such a wonderful delight. Forgo, give up everything that I own. Yeah, I'd give it all up now just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found. You're the rose shows, if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh. So slow, hold you in my arms, won't let go. The world around could pass us by, a thunderstorm, a lightning strike, as we hold each other tight. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows, if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh, you, You're the rose in a garden, and it shows, if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say, you're the rose in a garden, and it shows, if I'm honest.
All right, friends, thank you for joining me today. It felt so good to be outside, to be in the sun, to be in the garden, to be dirty, and I cannot even wait to see how much more progress we make on the garden this year. So Micah's not quite done with the water line out to the cottage garden yet. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have water out here, but he is working on that. And then I think next up is going to be finishing up the beds, finishing up potting some of the plants I have in the greenhouse, and then getting things ready to actually bring outside. So that will be just super exciting, a great day to come. In the meantime, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the farm next time. You're not on the thing.
Down a little farther. Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no. Not comfortable. It'd be like one leg Larry.
One leg Larry. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Takes a minute.